Hi, my paper is on the foster care system. And in the foster care system, there are so many glitches that need to be fixed in order for the foster care system to work efficiently and effectively. Being a foster child myself, I have found so many glitches of problems that happen with foster care children after their term has ended, which in many states it is 18. And in that 18-year time frame, the foster care system needs to step up and fix the problems as far as what happens to the child after they turn 18. Because 9 times out of 10, the foster care system doesn't care because you're no longer, quote unquote, their problem. And what that seems to happen is that, the children already grow up feeling different from other children because they aren't with their biological mother or father. So they're placed in a home where the children are being scrutinized by other children. They're being talked about. They don't have, the much needed clothing that the other children have. So that brings the morale down for that child that is in the foster care system. Most children in the foster care system grow up with very, very low self esteem. Their drive to want to go to school and to learn is not as intense as a child who is living with their biological mother or father. Which brings to why the foster care system has a broken system, that it needs to incorporate these social workers who is responsible for these children that are in the foster care system with their foster parent to go out and educate the parent as well as the child, so that when that child, as they get older, they will learn more about what goes on in life and what they can do outside of life once they leave the foster care system. The foster care system really needs to help be restructured in this day and time. As times have changed, people have changed. But the system, as far as the things that are going on with the children, have not changed. The needs are not being met for the children who are in the foster care system. And the reason I say that is because I am a foster child myself. I was in the foster care system in the mid to late 60s, and I am now 52 years of age. And looking at what has happened to me being in the foster care system, I can talk about these problems. And the problems are in the foster care system is they don't care. They didn't care. I was an abused child in the foster care system. I went to someone and told them how I was being physically abused in the home. And, they went to the parent and they discussed with the parent, the things that I had disclosed with them, which entailed got me in more trouble when I got at home. So nothing was done. It's like they have a deaf ear when it comes down to children in foster care. I was not told about, life after living in the foster care system with becoming homeless, which did happen, not having money, which did happen. And there was no one to help me because all I kept hearing was, you're no longer in the system, you're no longer our problem. And that's where the system needs to change, because yes, I was in the system, yes, and I was your problem, and I still consider myself as still being your problem. In order for us to fix this system, we have got to communicate. We have got to have more legislative offices and meetings with the public officials to try to figure out ways to help these children when they leave out of the foster care system. Again, being a foster care child myself, I know these things because it has happened to me. I did bad things when I got out of the foster care system, because it's basically like you don't know any better, but you do know better. The only people that I had to depend on was the higher power, which is the Lord Jesus Christ, who has been with me from the day that I was born, and having to deal with all of the ups and downs, the turns of everything that I went through in life. I finally had to get a grip and tell myself, okay, the system is not there to help you, so you're going to have to help yourself. And what helped me was having children. When I had my first daughter, I said I have to do better, because I don't want my child to go into the foster care system knowing what had happened to me. So what I did was I turned my life around on my own, and I wanted to be an example for my children. And I explained to them, as they got older and could understand what it was like being in the foster care system, how this happened and how that happened, and, how you basically have no family because your family gave you away. Now, you do have your foster care family, but, once you're out of the system and the money is gone, they don't want to really have anything else to deal with you. So you're just like basically on your own. So I wanted to do something different. I enrolled in college, and I started out in hospitality management. 2 years prior to now, I had to change to early childhood education due to being disabled. I didn't expect this, but it did happen. So you have to think of other revenues, and you have to stay ahead of the game, so that you don't fall back into that lackadaisical era of, quote unquote, being the foster child. You want to do better for yourself. I am in college. I am now studying early childhood education. I am about to graduate. I just have 2 more classes to take. Once I'm done with those 2 classes, I will be have my AA degree in early childhood education. I will be opening up a business so that I could leave a legacy for my children. In closing, I just want to say that the foster care system has its good and it also has its bad. And I feel as though that someone needs to really, really look into the system in ways of opening up ways that the system can really, really help the children once they leave out of the foster care system. Because once they leave out of the system, that's it. They're out here on their own. They don't have anywhere to go. They don't really have anyone to talk to, and that that will stop preventing more crimes that are out here if they are educated. Like when they're like 15, 16, start taking them out and, reaching out to them and letting them know that, hey, there's a better way, because in 2 years you're going to be out here on your own, and we want to get you a job so that you can start saving your money, get them a bank account so that they can save their money. That when they are 18, at least they have money enough that they can get an apartment. They can pay their rent for at least 6 months, and they can keep going and going and going. In closing, let's not forget about the children that are in foster care. Let's keep hope alive. Let's push forward, and let's find ways that we can make the foster care system a better place for not just us, but for the environment and for the next generation to come, because there are going to be a lot more kids going into the foster care system because a lot of parents are not good parents. And if you know that you're not going to be a good parent, then you should put your child in foster care. Also, in closing again, if I was to, someone would ask, would you take a child that's in foster care? Yes. Would I treat them the way I was treated? Absolutely not. I feel as though every child should be treated with respect, love, dignity, and cherished a lifetime. And that's what I would give to my foster care child if I was to have one. Thank you for listening.